Welcome back to the Coolfigurez channel. I'm your host, Jesse the Bat Madrigal, aka the Buff Collector. The information on this channel is intended for adult collectors and not children. And today we are going to be taking a look at the Coolfigurez top 10 1/6 scale figures of 2022. If you do enjoy this video, please remember to give it a like, share, comment, and subscribe. Once again, guys, Happy New Year's, and I hope you guys are having a fantastic start to your new year. And of course, thank you once again for all the amazing and great support you provided for me in 2022. Jumping right on into this video, guys, once again, I do want to preference this video, much like I did my 1/12 scale top 10 video, that this list is very subjective to me. Much like every top 10 video list on YouTube currently, it is subjective to the person making the video, and even more so with these 1/6 scale figures, because the price points are just that much more, in terms of comparing them to 1/12 scale. So if you think 1/12 scale is getting expensive, 1/6 scale is that much more. However, in 2022, I decided to take the leap and start to collect 1/6 scale figures because I just personally started to see a lack of value and quality in 1/12 scale figures. Not all of them, obviously, but a majority of them. And with their prices rising and their value decreasing, I just decided that, well, I'd rather just save up, and instead of buying 4, 5, 6 figures, just buy one solid quality figure instead. So I fell hard into the 1/6 scale game, and notice that I'm saying 1/6 scale and not any particular company like Hot Toys, So Toys, Sideshow, because I don't discriminate and I collect any kind of 1/6 scale figure. So yeah, guys, I just wanted to preference that and say, even more so that these figures I did spend my own money on. They were not gifted to me in any way. So yeah, these are very much subjective to me, but hopefully you guys enjoy them as well. So much like we started off with the 1/12 scale honorable mentions, we are going to start off with 2 honorable mentions, starting off with the Sand Fighter right here. This is a third-party Sam Raimi Sandman. It is a really good representation of him. I just wish he would have came with an unsand man, I guess, or an unsandy head sculpt that was more to the likeness of the actor. And also a stand would be nice. I'm currently using another figure stand to hold him up, and you will actually be seeing the stand throughout the videos because I don't want them taking a topple while they're on the turntable. So yeah, this guy's pretty phenomenal. I mean, as you can see from the hands and the face, it's a really good job. I just wish that the neck maybe looked a little more sandy and not so humanized, and that way it kind of like sells the idea of him being Sandman just a little bit more. However, it gets the job done, especially considering that Hot Toys never gave us a Sandman figure besides the base that will be coming with the new Spider-Man. However, besides that, we have not gotten a Flint Marko Sandman Sam Raimi figure from an official release. So this one definitely gets the job done. The next honorable mention I do want to talk about, I don't have here currently, I do have in my collection though, is the brand new 1985 Doc Brown. Now, he could have made my list because he is one of my favorite characters and part of one of my favorite movies of all time. And it's actually pretty sad to say and think that, well, the NECA 1/12 scale version did make my top 10 list. In fact, it made it all the way to number 2 on the list. And the Hot Toys just cannot compare to the likeness. The head sculpt is a bit on the soft side, and so it is still a great figure, especially standing next to the Hot Toys Marty McFly. But it's just not good enough for me to put on my top 10 list. Much like this guy, it just fell short ever so slightly. But these were still 2 phenomenal figures that I absolutely love, and I'm super happy to have added to my collection. So with that being said, guys, why don't we go ahead and kick off the list with number 10, the Hot Toys Zack Snyder's Justice League Black Suit Superman. Now, this was a part of the 2-pack with the Nightmare Batman. However, much like with my 1/12 scale list, I did not see a good reason to put 2 figures in one slot, so I went ahead and broke them up. While the suit on this guy is absolutely phenomenal, the likeness to Henry Cavill is a little miss. So it's not perfect, but it's also not horrible. And the other thing that kind of does it really sell this figure is the lack of cape. I mean, there's a cape and all, and there's a wire, but the wire is really weak, especially considering the price point, and it being an official Hot Toys release. I was kind of expecting a little bit more in the dynamic range of the cape, and so it kind of fell flat. Although I do like that it does come with the light up eyes and this head sculpt right here. It's still a phenomenal figure, just one that doesn't quite do it as much for me as the rest. And to be honest, I bought the 2-pack specifically for the Nightmare Batman, so spoiler alert, he does make it on this list later on. However, this guy, like I said, is still a phenomenal representation of Henry Cavill's Superman, which we unfortunately will never see again. So I'm super happy that I went ahead and picked this guy up when I did, because, well, I don't think we're going to be getting any more of this guy as Superman because, well, he's out and they're already actively looking for the next Superman. So with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to number 9, the Daft Toys comic Two-Face. This guy definitely caught my attention when I did come across its solicitation pics. And well, it is just a phenomenal version of Two-Face. Very comic booky and just stands out, and really, like I said, stands out in the display because of the two-tone suit. This also reminds me of the recently released Mezco comic style Two-Face, just in a larger size. And having a comic style Batman and a comic style Joker, I knew this guy would be the perfect addition to my collection. He comes with some really cool accessories. He does, of course, come with his coin. However, I thought he looked a lot better with the revolver and the shot of brandy in his hand. Now, this is made by a third-party company, but they did a phenomenal job with it. The tailoring in the suit is great. The mixture of the plain skin and the green skin is pretty good as well. My only gripe is that exposed ball joint right there where you can see the green hand connects to the forearm. But yeah, that's pretty much why he's so high up on the list, mainly for that reason, but also because there are some other phenomenal figures on this list. Talking about those other phenomenal figures, let's go ahead and move on to number 8 with the Hot Toys DX18, The Dark Knight Rises Batman. Yes, guys, this is Hot Toys' latest DX release, and it is absolutely phenomenal. I absolutely love the likeness to the suit and everything. There's only one real gripe with it, in my opinion, which is also something really cool that they decided to do with it, but I feel like it just didn't work out as intended, and that is the magnetic head sculpt. While it's super cool and awesome to just be able to snap it on and off, the magnet just isn't quite strong enough to hold the head up all the time. I'm constantly having to adjust it up because it tends to slide down. And so yeah, the other thing is you really can't hold it from the head because the head sculpt just kind of pops off real quick and easy. But he does come with the rolling eyes and, you know, some really great accessories. And like I said, the accuracy to the suit is absolutely phenomenal. Now, I know one of my gripes with the black suit of Superman was the lack of a strong wired cape. However, this one does not come with a wired cape at all. But that kind of makes sense because in The Dark Knight, his cape really didn't do too much dynamic stuff. Since the movie was more grounded in reality, it kind of just draped over unless he was on the Batpod, you know, flying through the streets of Gotham and whatnot. But with Superman, his cape is always billowing in the wind, especially when he's just kind of hanging in the air and whatnot. But with Christopher Nolan's Batman, he was always, you know, on the ground, not really having his cape billow in the wind besides a few certain points. But it wasn't key enough into the story for me to really question why they didn't put a wire in this cape. Now, I have heard a few gripes about the cape in itself, and well, it does the job for me. It's not perfect, it's not the best, but it gets the job done. Now, something you guys will notice is that some of these, actually a lot of these, have not had reviews up. I am working on them currently. It's just when my channel started, it was a 1/12 scale channel. And so I still choose to prioritize 1/12 scale reviews over 1/6 scale reviews, so I'm quite behind on my 1/6 scale reviews, but best believe they will be coming in 2023. But yeah, super happy to have this guy in my collection. Now I just hope and pray that Hot Toys will re-release a Heath Ledger Joker. But until then, let's go ahead and move on to number 7, Joker. Now, this is a third-party figure, and I don't quite remember. Oh, wait, I think it is V-Toys, if I'm not mistaken. If I can think back to the box correctly, I believe it's V-Toys. This is a third-party Joker figure that was just done phenomenally. As you can see, he comes with a whole lot of tools in his tool belt, a drill, a saw, and guess what? He still comes with a full toolbox full of bloodied up tools. So this guy is just absolutely phenomenal. I'll go ahead and show you guys all the great stuff that he does come with when I do get into his review later this year. But yeah, this was a figure that I did not even know existed until I kind of went diving around an OfferUp for just 1/6 scale figures. He came across my feed and I had to pick him up that day. And so yeah, he came with some phenomenal accessories like that drill, that saw, and so many other great tools. And like I said, they all have blood effect on them, and it's just a phenomenal representation of, I believe it's the New 52 Joker. I believe that's the timeline where he cuts off his face and then he reattaches it, and the horror and gruesome factor is just that much more. But when is it not with the Joker? So yeah, just an absolute phenomenal figure in my opinion. With that being said, let's go ahead and move on to number 6, the Hot Toys Star Wars Attack of the Clones Jango Fett. This figure was a long time coming, and now with the 20th anniversary of Attack of the Clones rapidly approaching, man, am I fucking old. This guy was a phenomenal release to the line. Before this, we only had the Sideshow one, which had its issues, especially in the coloring. But this one is absolutely phenomenal. I absolutely love it, and it should have been higher up on my list if some other great figures did not make it out this year. Because as I always state, the two favorite parts of Star Wars for myself are the Clone Troopers and Mandalorians. And of course, the first Mandalorian that I fell in love with, well, technically was Boba Fett, but this guy also, and considering that he is the father of the clones, how could I not have him in my collection? The detail, the amount of accessories that he comes with, the options to display, just absolutely phenomenal. I love him so much. Like I said, he should be higher on my list. Had a few other figures not come out and really shocked and surprised me. But yeah, super happy to have this guy in my collection. And I look forward to the rest of the 20th anniversary Attack of the Clone figures that will be releasing very soon, or at least later on in this year. But with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and move on to number 5, the Hot Toys Zack Snyder's Justice League Nightmare Batman. Now we are in the top 5 at this moment, guys, so you know it's about to get really fucking good. Now ironically, this guy and the black suited Superman were intended to be my first ever Hot Toys purchases. When they first announced that 2-pack, I thought to myself, those are going to be the figures that get me into Hot Toys. Little did I know that I would already be pretty deep into collecting Hot Toys when the 2-pack was actually finally released. So when it was finally released, you know I had to pick it up. And honestly, it did not disappoint. The black suited Superman was a great addition to my collection, but this guy was definitely the reason why I wanted to add it to my collection. As you guys can probably tell by my name, Jesse the Bat Madrigal, I am a huge Batman fan. And so yeah, especially this variant of Batman, such a unique version of him that we just haven't really seen before, you know? Batman with a gun? Like, come on, when have you ever seen Batman with a gun? And I feel like the setting, the post-apocalyptic setting, just really sells it and puts it in perspective. And so yeah, the detailing in this guy, the amount of accessories, the looks you can give him, just absolutely phenomenal. And it is an upgrade from the previous one that was released by Hot Toys, especially in the trench coat color. But yeah, it's just an absolute juggernaut of a figure, and it's crazy to think that it actually got buried in my collection and only made it to number 5 on this list, because like I said, this was intended to be the figure to get me into Hot Toys. However, there are some better ones coming up. But also, he is not the final Batman we will see on this list. So, with that being said, why don't we go ahead and move on to number 4, the Hot Toys Star Wars Mandalorian Bo-Katan. This is just an absolutely phenomenal figure. Yes, it does unfortunately have its few downsides to it, mainly the single jointed elbows, the permanently attached jetpack, and a bit of the tightness of the suit, which kind of makes it a little hard to pose. However, the likeness to the actress is absolutely phenomenal. When they first announced this head sculpt and showed off pictures, a lot of people thought it had no resemblance to the actress. However, in hand, in person, it definitely does. In fact, so much so that she is the only helmeted figure in my collection to not wear her helmet. She has her helmet in hand. However, I just really enjoy the head sculpt so much so that I went ahead and let her wear it instead of her awesome helmet, which is really rare for me because the whole thing that I love about Mandalorians and Clone Troopers is their armor and especially their helmets. So for me to display this figure without the helmet on and with the unmasked head sculpt on, you have to know it looks absolutely phenomenal. Now, she almost didn't make it to 2022. She was released very late in the year, pretty much a week or two before Christmas. But I'm super glad she was released, and I'm super happy and glad to have her in my collection. She just looks absolutely phenomenal on my Mandalorian shelf. But with that being said, guys, it is time for us to get into the top 3 figures of 2022. So let's go ahead and take a look at number 3, the third party Puzzle Man, aka the Riddler from the 2022 Matt Reeves' The Batman. Sometimes third-party companies just do it better, guys, especially for the price point. This is a phenomenal figure, especially with Hot Toys yet to announce an official release of this character. We've had an announcement and solicitations for the official The Batman Hot Toys, but we have yet to see any for the Riddler or even the Penguin from the movies. So if some other third-party company wants to make the villains, you best believe I will be picking them up gladly. And this guy is actually more of a 2-in-1 figure because you can either display him as the Riddler or as a Riddler's henchman. Since they do wear the same uniform, he does also come with a sniper rifle to mimic the henchman at the end, so you can pick and choose how you want to display him. Of course, I choose to display him as the Riddler himself. He comes with some great accessories, like all the cards that he does have in the movie. He has them in 1/6 scale. Like I said, when I go into his review, we will go ahead and take a look at all that stuff in more detail and in depth. But until then, guys, just know this guy is absolutely phenomenal. And I mean, he made it to the top 3. And he was a late release in a sense. He released early in December. I got him on Christmas Eve, literally, just because of shipping and everything. But yeah, this guy definitely blew me away when I opened him up. Just a phenomenal figure. He comes with 2 different types of duct tape. One fully rolled up and one unrolled, as you can see. And he does come with that carpet remover tool that he utilizes to kill the mayor at the beginning. And it is made of die-cast metal. So just an all-around phenomenal figure, guys, and an absolute great addition to my collection. With that being said, let's go ahead and move on to number 2, the Toys Era Mr. Fiend, aka Norman Osborn from the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. This guy, honestly, it blew me away, guys, because when I got into 1/6 scale collecting, never in a million years did I think that one of the figures that I would buy would just be a guy in a suit. Well, I mean, aside from the Joker, obviously, but this guy is literally just a normal guy in a suit, but he is absolutely phenomenal. The likeness to Willem Dafoe is just so spot on. Willem Dafoe is one of my favorite actors of all time, so I was super happy with the way this guy came out. And like I said, for just being a guy in a suit, he definitely blows away a lot of the other figures on this list. And once again, done by a third party, guys. Third party companies just keep knocking it out of the park. So yeah, he doesn't come with too many accessories besides a few pumpkin bombs and the goblin mask, as you can see, but it does the job perfectly. And like I said, number 2 on my list. Who would have thought a guy in a suit would make number 2 on my top 10 1/6 scale list of 2022? But hey, here we are, and here he is. And he is front and center in my Sam Raimi display. So yeah, he's right there next to Spidey. With that being said, guys, let's move on to the final figure on this list. Who will be the top 1/6 scale figure of 2022 for me? Well, why wait? And let's go ahead and find out, because number 1 is none other than the Hot Toys Batman Forever Sonar Suit Batman. Yes, this guy, of course, is my top figure of 2022. And of course, it is a Batman. But it is not Christian Bale, and it is not Ben Affleck. It is Val Kilmer. Because growing up, guys, this was my Batman. So I was super excited when I saw that Hot Toys was going to be releasing this guy. And much like Bo-Katan and Doc Brown, he was barely a 2022 release because he released a week before Christmas. But it was such a great Christmas miracle that he did, because he is a phenomenal figure. Now, I have heard a lot of complaints and criticisms about the suit bunching up and it being, latex rubber and all that stuff. But guess what? Watch the movie back. You'll see it bunches up. You'll see it is made of latex rubber and all that stuff. In fact, Nicole Kidman kind of makes a point of it when she's trying to flirt with Batman that, now she's into, black rubber and all this stuff. So yeah, this suit is 100% movie accurate. And so yeah, this guy was just the absolute perfect addition to my collection. It was definitely something that I am super excited to own, and I hope that maybe one day we'll get a regular Batman Forever suit as well. But until that day does come, he will hold the number 1 spot until 2023 comes to an end and we see what other phenomenal figures come out within this year. So that wraps up my list of my top 10 1/6 figures for 2022, guys. Let me know down in the comments below, did any of these figures make your top 10 list? In fact, let me know your top 10 list down in the comments below. And if you've made it this far, type down in the comments below 2023. That way I know you've made it this far and you're enjoying the content. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching this video and my other top 10 video of my 1/12 scale figures. I really had fun making these, having a look back at all the great figures that came out in the previous year of 2022. It was definitely a hard choice to pick and choose just 10, but we managed to do it. So thank you so much once again for all the amazing and great support that you guys gave me in 2022. And once again, I hope you guys are having a great 2023 so far. With that being said, guys, I've been your host, Jesse the Bat Madrigal, aka the Buff Collector. And as always, have a great fucking day.